And the second side of that is the community gets to be a part of something where we're recognizing the ones who were truly heroes on the days that they lost their lives, and we bring them into the fold too, because we don't want to have any barriers. Cabarrus County community in particular is extremely supportive of law enforcement. We're very fortunate in that fact. Good morning. My name is Lieutenant Ross Provost, and I work for the Cabarrus County Sheriff's Office. I've been here for about 15 years now. And so the Law Day, which is what we call it, it's a day where we get to do a couple different things. We get to recognize a current sworn law enforcement officer who's been identified by the chiefs of police and the sheriff of Cabarrus County as somebody who has provided excellent service to the community of Cabarrus County and the cities they work. So we get to recognize that person with an award that we call the Robert J. Urey Award. The award's actually dedicated to a fallen officer who was killed in 1972 in Cabarrus County. And then the second part of the day is we get to recognize all the officers who were killed in the line of duty, whether they work for a city, a municipality, the county, the state, and died in our county. We recognize all of them. Family members come. It's a really big special event. Yeah, so Law Enforcement Week is among us. Tomorrow is like the National Law Day. And so there used to be two sides. There was the criminal justice, law enforcement, like police and sheriff side, and then there was the other side that was the district attorneys, criminal defense attorneys, because they're all involved in law, right? We've separated and done our own thing where we're just recognizing the law enforcement, police, sheriff side. And so it is a national event. There's a large event in Washington, D.C. every year where law enforcement officers from all across the country gather and they recognize all the fallen officers who've passed away in the previous year and then in years past as well. So our local day became an event because a concerned citizen found out that there wasn't a memorial, there wasn't a monument in place for the fallen officers in Cabarrus County. And when he found out about Robert Urey passing away in the line of duty, he gathered some money. He was a local business owner. He gathered some money and reached out to a couple partners. And then he even polled the schools, the local schools, and asked if the children would be willing to donate a nickel or a dime. I mean, this is 1972, a nickel or a dime to put this money forward to build the monument. And not only did they raise enough money for the monument, they raised enough money for us to have a CD fund, a bank account, so that we can continue this every year because, some costs come with it. And we haven't had to spend $1 out of our pockets since the money was raised back in 1972. And that's a really special thing about this thing. Tomorrow at 10:45 a.m., people from all over the county will be gathered right in front of the sheriff's office, and there's the memorials right out front as well. We're going to have a couple tents set up, and the sheriff will speak to introduce everybody, Sheriff Van Shaw. And then the winner of this year will be announced by Chief Gary Gasett because he's a Concord police officer. And then we'll have a couple different events where we'll have some bagpipes, and the family members of the fallen officers will all get recognized and have an opportunity to go to the monument, to have that moment, where they get to maybe speak to their loved one again and just thank them for their service and tell them they miss them. And they'll get to lay a rose down at the foot of the monument. And afterwards, the family and then the award recipient of the Robert Urey Award will all go upstairs for luncheon afterwards. There have been 8 law enforcement officers since 1899. That's as far back as we've been able to track, all the way until the most recent one, Jason Shuping, who was killed in 2020. So there's those 8 folks that we've known from, and it's a mix between Kannapolis Police Department, Sheriff's Office, and Concord Police Department.
Why are events like this and law enforcement appreciation weeks in general important, especially important to law enforcement itself?
It's a really good question. It's important internally for law enforcement so that we get to know that, not every day is guaranteed. There's several names on that memorial that didn't get to go home at the end of their shift. And so it kind of brings that back home to say, try your best, be safe, watch each other's backs. And the second side of that is the community gets to be a part of something where we're recognizing the ones who were truly heroes on the days that they lost their lives, and we bring them into the fold too, because we don't want to have any barriers. Cabarrus County community in particular is extremely supportive of law enforcement. We're very fortunate in that fact, and so that's why we open our doors up. We have open houses. Every agency in this region has had open houses where people get to come and talk. So it's a really good time for us to share that with them and show them that, hey, we're people too, and we like to go home at the end of the day, and we want to recognize the fact that some of us don't.